Good evening. Welcome to Grandma's Attic Music Review. What a joy to be with you. This is the last show of 2020. That's almost a good thing. 2020 has been a rough year for a lot of people. I look back on 2020 and reflect on the music that we've been able to bring to you, and I'm thrilled that we've been able to have some of the best musicians from around the area here to perform for you. That being said, tonight's guest just dropped a brand new album, and my friend Tracy Walton, who's been here, he was with the duo Belle of the Fall, you may remember that, but he produced this album for this young lady that's going to perform for you tonight. And I think that you are going to be extraordinarily blessed by what is brought to your living room, bedroom, wherever you're watching TV from. I hope that you will take the time to listen and kick back and enjoy. Get your popcorn or whatever, cocktail, whatever. Get it. Sit down, relax, and enjoy, because tonight, for your listening pleasure and viewing pleasure, we have Kristi Flagg. Welcome her to your home.
I'm going to start off with the title track from the record that I just released, Brave New View. Was traveling down the canyon, thinking about just where I've been. Didn't know just where I'd end up. Tossed my prayers into the wind. I was leaning on forever, thinking that felt good to be. Set in something I could believe in, till it all fell away from me. Into the light now dare I go, leaving behind all I've ever known. I believe my heart is true. I'm taking in this brave new view. Promises did bloom around me, fragrant petals full of lies. I'd collect them like a child, catching summer fireflies. Then God appeared and said he loved me. I heard his voice roll through the trees. He looked just like Adam in Eden, handing his love over to Eve. Into the light now dare I go, leaving behind all I've ever known. I believe my heart is true. I'm taking in this brave new view. Fell in love with his great kindness, the way his hands enfolded mine, taking in his grace with wonder. Fell in love right then with mine. This brave new view, this brave new view. Thank you. Take my guitar strap off. Making this record was a great joy, and I really loved working with Tracy on it, and he's a wonderful musician, and I had not been playing professionally for a number of years, so it was kind of a re-entry for me, and you may hear nuances of that story, if you will, in some of the lyrics. This one's called Let It All Come Tumbling. She was always trying to stay on the right side, till she started slipping off of the edge. Then she found some balance in the shadows, but that is not the way she was taught to tread. Let it all come tumbling down, let it come tumbling. The love and the lies and the hurt and the light and the pain. Let it all fall up and out, let it fall away, where nothing and everything meet in between, where nothing and everything meet in between. He was always trying to make her happy, wandering through his life, deaf, dumb, blind. Now it's time to give up that old story and walk into a new life with his heart open wide. Let it all come tumbling down, let it come tumbling. The love and the lies and the hurt and the light and the pain. and out, let it fall away. Where nothing and everything meet in between. Where nothing and everything meet in between. Let it all fall up and out, let it fall away. Where nothing and everything meet in between. Let it all come tumbling down, let it come tumbling. When you think you've reached the end, it's over. Coming round the corner, can you see? An army of winged angels flying, challenging you, daring you to be. Oh, let it all come tumbling down, let it come tumbling. The love and the lies and the hurt and the light and the pain. Let it all fall up and out, let it fall away. Where nothing and everything meet in between. Where nothing and everything meet in between. Where nothing and everything. Thank you. Let's see what feels right next. How about this one? This is track 2 on the album. It's called Our Story, and it's interesting as a songwriter because a lot of times people assume everything is autobiographical. It's not always the case. Sometimes it's a little bit of fiction and a little bit of truth, self-truth. Sometimes it's just a story altogether. And when I wrote this song, what I was thinking about actually was how people, when they are together in an intimate relationship, have such often differing experiences of that relationship, whether it's good or bad. Even sometimes when it's a good relationship, it's good for the different people for different reasons. And when relationships end, it's sort of a similar thing. It's sort of a breaking apart, if you will. And there can be very, very different sides to the tale. And that's what this song is about. And on the record, Tracy sings back up with me, which is really fun. I love his voice. So this is called Our Story. Feeling so blue as the rain hits the ground. Thinking about you as it comes showering down. Seems like a long time that I used to say, you're all that I need, and in your arms I will stay. Our story has come to an end. The inkwell just finally ran dry. The truth was getting harder to bend. Just to keep that look of love, keep that look of love in your eye. The beginning was easy as it so often is. We fit hand in glove, took a breath and dove in. Conversations were breezy, we were just you and me, till we started to fade like the light from the day. Our story has come to an end. The inkwell just finally ran dry. The truth was getting harder to bend. Just to keep that look of love, keep that look of love in your eye. Oh. Remember the night I fell into your arms, before all the fights, when we caused all the harm. We made love till the dawn, there was no love so bold as the love we were in, but that tale has been told so many times before. The race that we've run is finally done. The time to move on has finally come, and I'm off and running. Oh, oh, oh. Story has come to an end. The inkwell just finally ran dry. The truth was getting harder to bend. Just to keep that look of love, keep that look of love in your eye. Keep that look of love in your eye. Keep that look of love in your eye. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you. Now on the other side of the spectrum, this song, when Tracy and I made the record, we actually made several music videos too. So if you're interested in seeing those, you can go to my website, is kristiflagg.studio. And we have all of the videos there too, and they're also up on YouTube. We did a video for this one in his studio, and he lit it all with candles. It was really quite fun actually doing the filming of it. It's called In My Arms. And it's definitely on the other side of the spectrum of the song I just played you, so it's kind of a nice juxtaposition. Make sure I don't hit the mic stand. I'm just going to check my tuning real quick because we're so high up here. Pardon me. This is a live show, so this is part of the live experience.
Everybody that comes on the show plays this exact same song.
The tuning song. The tuning song, that's right.
Everybody does it.
It's a good thing when we do. I think that's good. In my arms you will someday be. In my arms you will someday be. in my arms, in my arms. In my love, you will be set free. In my love, you will be set free. In my love, in my love, hey. In my love, falling away into the void where we're set free, circling back around into this mystery. In my eyes you will see my heart. In my eyes you will see my heart. In my eyes, in my eyes. In my eyes, in my eyes. In my tears you will be washed clean. In my tears you will be washed clean. In my tears, in my tears. In my tears. Falling away into the void where we're set free, circling back around into this mystery. Hey, hey. In my arms you will someday be. In my arms you will someday be. In my arms, in my arms. In my arms, in my arms. In my arms, in my arms. In my arms, in my arms.
Nicely done. What a great song.
Thank you. Let's see. I'm happy to say, too, that even though we have just released this record, it was released in late October. We worked on it all through, which what we didn't realize would be COVID era, but we started recording in January of 2020 and then boom. So during that whole strange period, we were working a lot in the studio. And a lot of the songs, we had several other songs that we recorded that didn't make the record, and I was also still writing. So we've actually been in the studio again in the last couple of months, and my second record is almost done. And yeah, it's kind of exciting, and we'll be releasing it most likely late February, and that's going to be called Surrender, and it's just nice to be able to get some momentum after a long time of not doing recording to not feel the need to wait a year or something like that. So I'm excited to be able to say that. Let's see. What would I like to play for you next? Let's do If You Return to Me. This is another one, fun song that we did a music video for. And if you see that online, we used a beautiful old 65 Mustang in this song. And I've known that car since I was a little girl. I asked my neighbor if we could use the car, and then I also asked her to be in the video. So she's in the video with me. It's really fun. It's called If You Return to Me. What's going on here? Here we go. There is a fire here inside me, got a burning in my heart. I'm having trouble sleeping since you and I have been apart. The days fall into weeks, the months trail into years. How did I ever let it go this far, stuck in the tracks of all my tears? Who will I be? You return to me. Is it right to believe that you ever loved me? Aching heart is spinning, the turning of the tides. I got used to you standing right here by my side, facing all the questions lined up like signs along the road. The wiles my mother warned me of have now become my mother lode. And who will I be if you return to me? Is it right to believe that you ever loved me? Joy has been unwinding as I face my demons down. Our story has been tainted, spelled out in stones upon the ground. I loved you well with all my heart, I held you good and true. I loved you strong and slow like in that perfect Dylan tune. And who will I be if you return to me? Is it right to believe that you ever loved me? Who am I now without your love? Who will I be if you return to me?
You want to do one more song? Oh, stop. You want to do one more song and come talk to us?
You bet.
Oh my
that sounds
gosh,
great.
my phone.
Let me think. What would be a good one? The one. Actually, well, I have to unplug the guitar to play that one. So let me do. You know what I'll do? This would be kind of fun. I'm going to do the Bob Dylan tune I just referred to. Is that okay to do a cover?
Yeah,
okay.
As long as you give credit where credit's due, you can do whatever you want on Grandma's Attic.
Okay, cool. This one is the song that song. This is the song that last song refers to. The perfect Dylan tune. I won't necessarily play it perfectly, but he wrote it perfectly. So this is called Buckets of Rain. It's really fun to play. Buckets of rain, buckets of tears. Got all them buckets coming out of my ears. I got buckets of moonbeams in my hand. You got all the love, honey, baby, I can stand. Well, I've been meek and hard like an oak. I've seen pretty people disappear like smoke, and friends will arrive and disappear. When you want me, honey, baby, I'll be here. The smile in your fingertips. I like the way you move your hips, and I like the way you love me, strong and slow. I'm taking you with me, honey, baby, when I go. Little red wagon, little red bike. I ain't no monkey, but I know what I like, and I like the way you love me, strong and slow. Yeah, I'm taking you with me, honey, baby, when I go. Life is sad and life is a bust, and all you can do is do what you must, and do what you must do, and you do it well. And I do it for you, honey, baby, can't you tell? Well, it's buckets of tears, buckets of rain. I got all those buckets coming out of my ears. I got buckets of moonbeams in my hand. You got all the love, honey, baby, I can't stand. Yeah, you got all the love, honey, baby, I can't stand.
Oh, that was awesome. So Kristi's going to come over and join me and Mike up, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. I have never sat and talked with Kristi before, so we have a real whole get-to-know-you interview going to happen. But remember, we're coming into the new year. Let's do what we have to do to get rid of COVID. Wear your mask, socially distance, do the things you got to do. Let's start 2021 on a brand new slate. Let's start it on a positive note. Let's talk all about positive things. Let's bring positivity back to this world, And in the meantime, shop local. Spend time with your downtown people. Check in with your local stores, your local art galleries. You know the drill. All right, we're going to talk to Kristi now. I'm really excited about this. Stay tuned because some big news is coming up. Hi.
Hello.
I am so happy to have you on my show.
Thank you so much.
Every time I have listened to this album, and this is the album, by the way. My wife and I love this album. We love this album. We have a favorite song. I'm not going to tell you which one it is.
Oh.
Because they're all really, really good. So every year I choose from local music, local meaning Connecticut-ish. I choose my 3 picks for the top 3 albums of the year. Because I can, because I'm a DJ and because I have my music review and nobody really listens to me, but I get to do it because I can. So I want to tell you that this album is my number 1 pick for 2020.
Hey.
Number one album release of 2020 is Kristi Flagg's Brave New View. Get it, check it out. It's incredible. It's got at least 11 perfect cuts on it.
Thank you so much for that.
It really does.
That's so
11 amazing pieces of music. And you haven't done music in like years. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was doing music back in the 90s and touring around, and I was up in Boston when this whole singer-songwriter thing was kind of taking hold. Then I moved to Texas for a while, and then I was doing some music here and there, but then I just got off the road. It was a rough kind of going there for a while, and I decided to make money in other ways. I still played a little bit of guitar, and I probably did maybe 5 or 7 shows in a period of 20 years. But
wow.
I was really not writing. I was doing other people's material a little bit, and so it was pretty much a 25-year hiatus is how I look at it now. And then I was going through a lot of personal changes in my life, and I had moved back home to be near my father, and I went to an open mic, and I was very surprised to want to sing again in front of people. So
Excuse me.
I got up that night and sang a Tom Waits tune a cappella, and then took my guitar out of the case, and then ended up writing about 40 songs in a year, which is not my normal pace of songwriting, but
no, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot of songs in 1 year.
It was for me as well. I think it is, but it was a new sort of pace for me, and I think it was like an untapped well that had been collecting ideas and just waiting for the melodies, and then they started to come, and then suddenly I realized at that point, after writing those songs, I really wanted to make a record. And I fished around and talked to people for a while, kind of got a little idea of who did what where, and then I happened to meet Tracy Walton.
Unbelievable musician.
Great
Just saying.
musician. Yeah, he's a fabulous bass player, great guitar player, wonderful producer.
And an ear.
Great ear.
Oh my goodness, what an ear he has.
Yeah, it was really easy to work together. We have a similar musical language as far as what we wanted to hear and how we wanted to play certain things. So when I couldn't necessarily play something, I could sing it to him, and he would, know how to make it what I was hearing in my head. And he also gave me a lot of room to be creative. So sometimes as the musician, you go in and you have a producer who does all the production, but we work very beautifully together. And that was such a fun part for me, because I just love being in the studio. So
yeah, so this album is great, and of course Tracy is a big part of the production and making it a great album. We have to give credit where credit's due. But they're your songs. One of the things that happened today that hasn't happened for me is you did a cover, and everything that is on this album is your music. So I think that's kind of cool that we caught a cover out of you. But you can do your music anytime you want with me. All your music, all the time. We're good with it. What makes you write a song? What brings you to the place where you have to write a song?
Various things. Sometimes it's an emotion to an event. Sometimes it's simply a thought that comes into my head. I remember specifically this tune that will be on the next record. And I was walking down the driveway and I thought, gosh, what would it be like if, and I kind of had this scenario in my head, and I was putting myself into this, almost like this story, and as I was walking, a melody started to come, and the chorus wrote itself, and I went, oh, okay, so, and then the verse just kind of fell out. And I by the time I got back up my driveway, I had one more verse to write. So sometimes it happens like that. Sometimes I'm practicing guitar and tuning up the guitar, and I'll just sort of land my fingers in a particular place, and I'll go, huh. And I'll start to play that, and then I immediately start to hear melody. That usually is what comes next for me. And then a word or two, an emotion matches and finds its connection to the melody. And then usually I would say it's from personal experience, again, that starts the fire.
Yep.
And then it's kind of a choice as to whether or not to just dive into that real personal well or make it about something else. A lot of the songs on this record, actually, I would call love stories to the divine. I'm a meditator and have had a really great friendship with Jai Uttal, who sings at the end of the first song on the record. We used a bit of a song of his from one of his albums, and sometimes in the midst of life, I've been turning more toward that quieter place within me. So when I sing In My Arms, that ballad I played, yes, it can be a love song between people, but it's also, to me, when I was writing it, it was also about that larger energy and force that when you're just feeling downtrodden and you just are reaching out for some support and saying, God, please, just, and then up comes this swell of support. So In My Arms can also be the voice of, however you like to call it, God, divine, nature, Gaia.
I agree. I believe that the universe has a way of giving us exactly what we ask for, and when we put our intentions out there, I think that the universe absolutely gives us back what we deserve and what we ask for and what we intend upon. So it's right there. It's right there. Maybe that's why I connected so well with this album. Brave New View. Tell us about the title. Tell us about the song. Tell us where that all came from.
That was definitely from, I had been living in another state. I had just ended a 20-year marriage, and it was about allowing myself to realize that it was okay to have a new perspective and to have a different lens with which to move forward in my life. It was scary. It was scary moving through that change. There was a lot of heartache and a lot of love and discord and harmony, as always in any relationship. But when you get divorced, it's a lot to digest. And I did a fair amount of digesting, and then kind of went, okay, what's it look like here? What's this brave new view? And that, again, the second or the third and fourth verses in there talk about hearing God coming through the trees and talking about childhood and the innocence of childhood, the loss of that. And then in some ways, I think, if we allow ourselves, we get to a point in our lives where we circle back to some of that innocence, where we can hand over some of the effort and live with a bit more ease. But it's like jumping off a ledge.
It is.
To take those new steps. And so that was kind of the image for me, was this is a brave new view.
Well, it certainly is and to put out an album in 2020 with COVID going on and the world in such a mess, that in itself was brave.
I just didn't have any choice. It was that was kind of, I just didn't care. I mean, it was just like, here we are, we're making the record. Oh, COVID, okay. Here we are, the record is done. Yes, let's release it. There are no places to play. It doesn't matter. Here's the album. That was the the task at hand, really, and that was the artwork, was to release the record. And I think it'll find the ears and hearts it's supposed to.
Well,
you always just hope that that's the case. And
I went live while you were playing, and I have a young friend, her name is Samantha, and she happened to hook on while we were live. And after it was over, she wrote, this song grabbed my heart.
Brave New View?
I don't remember what song I went live on. But it was really slow, mellow, peaceful song that you did. I don't think it was Brave New View. It
was In My Arms, maybe.
Maybe. I think so. But she said, it grabbed my heart. And if it grabs one, it's going to grab many. When I look at music, when I listen to music, I listen to and look for order, tonality, and pitch. Because if it has those three things, somebody's going to like it. I don't have to like it. It doesn't have to be my kind of music. If it has those three things, this has so much more than that. The depth to this record is intense. It's real. It comes from a heartfelt place. And it carries with it a kind of, I want to use the word freedom, that I haven't heard in music in a long time. Makes me a little emotional. It's an amazing album.
Thank you.
For me to put it on the top list, for me, means that it had to take me places that I haven't been before. It's like that with every top #1 album for the last 10 years. So
I appreciate that so much. I mean, it was definitely a heartfelt expression for me, and for me it was a journey. It was a journey, and the next record's going to be very different.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll feel different. This feels more like you're on a journey with me, and I think the next record is a little bit more from once I got settled into the Brave New View. This is what it feels like.
Now that you're there.
So the songs are, there's a kind of string running through them. And it's going to be a bit shorter. It'll be 8 or 9 songs. I think it's going to be 8 songs. I have another one, but I think it's 8 songs because I want it to feel kind of like one whole piece. And that it's a perfect follow-up to this one.
Well, I hope that #1, you'll send it to me.
Oh,
and
#2,
will. That you will bring it back, that you'll come back with it next year in 2021 when we're all doing all kinds of positive things.
Yes, please.
So tell me a little bit about your history. When did you realize that you were a musician?
Pretty early on. I was a singer in choir and in school. So singing was it for me right off the bat. I studied classical voice. I was in musical comedies. And then when I was in college, I got a guitar, but I really didn't start playing it till I was out in New Mexico right after I graduated from college. That's when I really started to dive into it. And then when I was living in Boston around 89, 90, I was playing at the open mics and working for a folk concert production company up there. And that's when I started to dive more into songwriting. And I dabbled on piano a little bit, but guitar is my go-to, definitely. So I've known since I was a little kid that I loved to sing, and so all my life, I guess.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful to know that you can. Did you have musical parents?
My mom, bless her heart, was a bit tone deaf, but my dad was. I loved singing hymns with her in church, though. It was great. But my dad was very musical. He had a beautiful voice, and he would listen to music a lot. And those are the records that I would listen to. A lot of his opera and musical comedy things. And then my grandmothers were both musical. My dad's mom was a pianist and went to Juilliard, and my mother's mother was a violinist.
Wow.
I didn't know her because my mom was adopted, but apparently she was a violinist in the Washington Symphony. So there's some musical roots. And my brother was very musical. My brother was a guitar player, and my sister played piano. So she would play, and I would sing along with her, and my brother was the one who sat me down and said, this is how you count in 4, and this is how you count in 7. So there was the whole kind of a family, little bits and pieces of everybody as I grew up.
That's so nice. We had music in our house too. What do you think your biggest musical influence was?
Probably my brother's record collection.
And what was in that?
Well, 45s, you know, Herman's Hermits, and
I love
Harper's Bazaar. You know, my sister, well, actually Bradley had Joni Mitchell, you know, lots of James Taylor, Beach Boys, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Neil Young. And then as I got older, another person who I really enjoy listening to a lot is Jane Siberry from Canada.
I don't know her.
She writes more like this, and and that I really love that aspect. It's very kind of poetic structure.
I like that.
You know?
Sounds a little Bob Dylan-y.
Yeah. I'll send you some stuff.
Okay,
but
cool.
But I would say, you know, a lot of people, if you think of the 70s singer-songwriter canon from California back in the day, the Eagles, all that stuff, Linda Ronstadt. I mean, that was just mother's milk to me, was listening to all of that incredible music and musicianship, you know, the writing, Bonnie Raitt. So
awesome. So you're invited back. I'm just saying, as soon as you get this new album done, come back, maybe bring Tracy with you, play a little bass behind you, whatever. As always, we've run out of time. What I would love from you is another song, maybe a song that you wrote.
Yes.
And please come back, and welcome back to the music world.
Thanks.
We are blessed. We are blessed to have you.
Appreciate
Her
that.
new album, Brave New View, you can find it at kristiflagg.com. Is that right? kristiflagg.com?
kristiflagg.studio.
kristiflagg.studio.
Yeah, no
okay?
.com, just .studio.
And if you hit me up and because you don't remember, then I will tell you again. This is the #1 album of 2020 from Grandma's attic perspective. Check it out. It's the one. There's a lot of albums this year, but this is the one. #1.
Thank you so much for that support. Really appreciate that. Just going to do a quick tuning before we go out. Thank you for listening. Nice to sort of meet you. Puppy dog. Pick up the paper and read the same news over and over and over again. Walk down the street unaware of the rain, the details of life slip away. I am lost in the thought of you. 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 Meet friends for tea, my mind just drifting back to the way we fit. It's been a long while, thought it fell out of style, so lost in love as it begins by. You didn't quite see me, but that didn't faze me. I was wondering where you had been. I am lost in the thought of you. 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 Years roll on by. Years roll on by. Years roll on by, and I'm still